My name's Ken Fatula, and if you've been lucky, or if you haven't been paying attention, or if you just ignored my first video, I cook, but I'm not a chef. However, I'm an experienced eater. What we're going to do is I'm going to make some taco meat. I'm going to show you how to make taco meat. And the reason I'm doing this, and I'm using burger. Granted, I know that there are people that there are shrimp tacos, fish tacos, there are chicken tacos, there's pork, which is el pastor or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a chef. But bottom line is, burger is the easiest thing for me, and it's a thing that I can load into a taco shell most easily. I can flavor it, and I know exactly what's going to go on. And with the burger, I can use chorizo. If you've ever gone, and I said this last time, to a restaurant, sometimes what happens is the restaurants feed you a kind of an idea of what Mexican food looks like. And I hate getting a taco and it's got burger in it, and sometimes they really load it up with burger. You bite into it and it's kind of sort of flavorless. It's got maybe salt, as I said before, chili powder or something. But you see, what you really want to do is you want to put depth into this thing. When you take a bite of the meat that's inside of that shell, there should be something, a depth in it with some heat and some interest. You should get a background of some garlic. And you throw onion, the way that I assemble, which is going to be part of this. We will make tacos themselves, not just the meat, but I'm going to show you how to make a taco. Oh yeah. So the first thing we're going to do, because I'm going to need it, is I'm going to put garlic. These are garlic cloves. A lot of people just use powdered. It's your, whatever you want to do. And once again, people are looking and saying, wow, he's really got no cutting skills. This is true. Oh, let me put this in the bearing bucket. Garlic's really good for you. That's why I use it a lot. It's it's not something you necessarily always want to smell if it's on somebody's breath, but baby, it's good. Now, when you've got a clove like this and you crush it or you push down on it, it starts breaking the outside shell or whatever you want to call it, husk, and then you end up with the actual small cloves themselves, and they've got a husk on them. And what I just did was I broke it so that you could more easily take it off. Now, I do something that nobody else does, I guess. I don't know, maybe they do. Is I don't like this this hard edge on it where it has been kind of grown out of the actual large clove or bulb. So I cut it off because I would prefer to not have wood in my food. And undoubtedly, if you're going to be cooking, as in a soup or a sauce, maybe a stew of some kind, you can put a whole clove in. You can just drop one of these bad boys in there and let it cook.
Well, you cut the top off.
You cut the top off. Okay, Mrs. Fatula just advised me, cut the top off.
Cut about a fourth of the way down from the top.
Fourth of the way down from the top. She's in the other room. You probably can't hear her. She's sewing. My wife is multifaceted, and she can do a lot of different things.
Okay,
and does them well.
I'm just going to
okay. Here's Mrs. Fatula is going to show you how to do this.
Soup or stew or something, you can just cut all the way through, and just, if you want to take off some of the papery husks, you can. Drop it in your pot of soup, or when you're braising meat or making stew or something, and it really gives a lot of good flavor. And when the food is finished cooking, you can just pull that whole thing out, let it cool a little bit, and then squeeze the basically garlic paste out of the bowl. It's a cool tip.
It is a cool tip. See, she's smart. I'm telling you, seriously. One of the best cooks. One of the 10 best cooks. I didn't say chefs in the Western Hemisphere. And by the way, I'm not making fun of chefs. Like I said before, I watch them on TV. Some of them are very entertaining. They're very bright people. I like the way that there's a lot of banter with these professional chefs. I watch them on the various shows, and they tease each other, and they know a great deal. And sometimes they actually argue about, well, I kind of liked it, Well, I don't know. It didn't appeal to me, and so like, this is going to be fun. But anyway, I'm not a chef. All I am is a guy that likes to eat, and I know what I like to eat. And we've been working on this. This is garlic, and I just want it small enough so that it will release. The smaller the garlic is, the more it's going to release quickly, and you'll get the most flavor out of it. At least that's what I think. I read that someplace. So I'm putting the garlic in there. Now, people, I've heard different things, but according to Nick Stanini, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, who, by the way, I think he's a marvelous person. I love him. He said if you want to keep garlic from burning, you put it in the oil and you heat it with the oil. I'm going to assume that I got that right. This is a skillet, stainless skillet. It's got an aluminum bottom. I've got an electric stove. All of the good guys, they use gas. They get to really adjust the flame, and they can get things cooking really fast. Unfortunately, I'm not that. Now, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to wash my hand. I'm going to put on some nitrile gloves. And I know what you're saying. Well, you haven't really touched anything except garlic. I don't care. I hate having funky hands. Here we're going to put on nitrile gloves because I'm going to be handling raw product, meat. I've got about almost 3 pounds of 85% lean ground beef. I also have a pound, or roughly a pound, of venison burger. Now, here's the deal. Venison burger has almost no fat. The 85% has almost no fat. I mean, really, it's a low fat. Apart from going with 96 or 93 or 90%, it's pretty low.
But Ken, what is venison?
Venison comes from deer. Thank you for asking that. See, not only is he a man who knows how to record, he asks the right questions. So, but Ken, what is venison? Let's get the burger out first. Now, this will be thrown away. I am going to use this knife to cut along the edges so that I can deposit this. We'll be visiting that knife again when I get to the chorizo. Now, I got the beef in there. Put that away. The next thing that I'm going to do is grab some fresh chorizo. Actually, I'll put the venison in next. Now the venison, ooh, that was blood. This came from an animal that at one time was living, a pristine lifestyle in the wild, among the hills and valleys of Pennsylvania, minding its own business, eating crops, and jumping in front of cars so that you have to slam on the brakes. Anyway, that's basically what you're looking at with venison. It's nothing more than ground deer meat, muscle. Now, this stuff right here, some people, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing it, some people like to add some fat to it because it's almost impossible to make a good hamburger out of venison burger unless you put some kind of binder in there. And the assumption is that if you mix pork with it, you can make a burger patty. You notice the difference in color between venison and the ground beef. Now I'm just gonna break this up a little bit. Same thing's true of this. And what I'm gonna be doing, well, yeah, oh, I can hardly wait. Now, we're going in with this chorizo. This is simple. Chorizo has a variety of herbs, or I should say spices, and I believe it's a pork product for the most part. well, here, where does it say on the back side? I'm made with stuff. Pork, less than 2% of following. Water, salt, spices, paprika. So those are the ingredients. So this is going to provide most of the fat that we need for this meal. Now, what I do is you're going to slit the case without slitting your fingers. Remember, I am not a chef.
Nor are you an emergency room doctor, so be careful.
Yes, I know. I'm not an emergency room doctor. Okay, I know that there's probably an easier way to do this, but this is the way I do it, so knock yourself out. Ah, there, now the casing is coming off. We're going to set this in here. And to my way of thinking, this is 1 pound, and that's 1 pound of pork seasoned to 4 pounds of burger. All right, so all of the meat is in here. I'm going to break it apart a little bit. And that we're going to be doing a lot of this when I set this in here. And like I said, you know, there might be some people, this is not the approach that they have for it, but if you're going to have taco meat, you want to have something that's going to be compatible with everything else. Because when I make a taco, I put in cheese, shredded cheese, and there are some shredded cheeses that are specific for taco seasoning. I don't care so much about that, just use whatever cheese you like. But the object for me is to try to get the cheese to melt a little bit, or at least some of it. That's why it's grated cheese melting. And I put these sweet onions on it as well. But we're actually going to put a few onions inside of this meat mixture, along with a variety of spices. Now initially when we fire this thing up, just going to probably put salt on it, and that's going to be it initially. So I'm going to carry this over here to our oven. I turned it up to 6. I guess I should probably crank it up even higher. It's got some olive oil in it. I have no doubt that there's going to be some natural fat from the chorizo that's going to be melted into it. And so now what I'm going to do, we got it on the skillet, I fired it up, I'm going to put some salt in here. And while that's roughly a tablespoon, maybe a little better than a tablespoon, not tablespoon, I always say tablespoon, it's a teaspoon. A teaspoon. So now we've got some of this happening, and I'm going to cover it up, and eventually I'm going to be adding some herbs. I wonder if I should add the herbs now, Leonore. Should I add some herbs now? And that's my wife saying nothing. All right.
I'm sorry, what?
Think I should put some herbs in now?
I would let the meat brown a little bit.
All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to let it brown. All right, so we're going to let this thing brown a little bit. This might take, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm going to put a little bit more olive oil in. What do we got here? I'm trying to get this nice and whatever. Need to get it brown and chopped up.
And how long does it take normally to do this, Mr. Fatula?
Well, this part of it is probably, you're looking at 20 minutes or more. So I'm not saying that it doesn't take some time, but it's going to have flavor.
So Mr. Fatula.
Yes.
Okay, so could you put this in the oven?
That might not be a good idea. And I'm going to tell you, here's the issue. You put a meatloaf in the oven because you're baking a loaf. This is not supposed to be a loaf. It's supposed to be ground beef and smaller clusters of beef and the chorizo. if you would put it in the oven, which by the way, I understand I've been reminded that I said I'm gonna take it over to the oven. What I meant was I'm taking it over to the stove. Hey, look, I'm not a chef, all right? So I put it over at the stove, and the stove is a good spot for it. And it heats it up. What I'm having right now, what I'm trying to do is get a little bit of a crust or brown the beef and brown everything. And I put the lid back on it because I want to keep as much moisture in it as possible, because soon I'm going to be adding the various flavorings. Well, what I'm doing is, if you'll see, I'm using this skillet to kind of break up any kind of meat clusters. Yeah, I don't know if that's the right thing. Globs? I don't know. Just take a look at it. I don't want it to be just one mass. I want it to be small enough so that it can be coated, all of it, or coated as thoroughly as possible with many of the condiments that I'm going to be putting on it, or seasonings. And that's not the only reason. I want something that I can actually get inside of a taco shell. That's right, taco shell. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right here, and you'll want to stick around. Remember, I've got almost 5 pounds, about 5 pounds of meat in here, burger, and the sausage that's being chopped up too. Oh, this is going to be good. I'm telling you right now, just get ready. Now there's water that is in the meat itself, and if you see the bottom, you'll see that there's a little bit of water that's building up in the bottom of it. And that's good. Well, some of that, I know that there was some blood with the venison, but most of this is going to percolate out.
You might want to leave the lid off now.
You want me to leave the lid off? Okay.
Yeah, it might dry out and brown better.
All right. So we're browning it.
Even though I'm not a chef either.
My wife is not a chef. Man, can she cook. So I already put some salt in it, and undoubtedly it'll take some later. Right now what I want to do though is I want to start seasoning. Do you think it would be okay to season now? Take a look. This has gotten...
How do you feel?
You're going to feel? Feel.
You know what?
Don't think she isn't violent. I'm lucky to have survived 49 years and 3 months.
Of marriage, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You could have killed me many times.
That's true.
This is actually starting to become a very violent video.
Oh, you've still got some good raw stuff in there. Yeah, I would go ahead and start putting some stuff in.
All right.
Just the powdered stuff, you know, it does soak up
Yeah.
a lot of moisture.
What
which
I'm
may
going
help
to
it
do,
brown.
first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in chili powder. I know, I said, that's all people use is chili powder. Well, you're going to need chili powder. Remember, you're making it to your taste, not to Ken's taste. So you got chili powder. You got your chili powder. You've got your cumin powder. Now this is something that sometimes people don't understand. Cumin is crucial.
Yes.
So I'm putting powder in. Also, I have cumin seed. As soon as I find it. There it is. And don't be afraid to add the cumin seed,
And
the powder.
and why do cumin seed and powder at the same time?
Well, the seed, I believe, is going to release it a little differently, and the powder itself, I don't know, Leonore, what do you think? The powder
the
is...
seed releases it slowly as it cooks.
Yeah.
And the powder, you can either add it now, or you can add it now and add some later,
Yeah,
too.
if you don't have
Taste.
enough flavor, you can
Yeah.
bump it in. The thing for me is, I find that I think the cumin powder does not have as much intensity. But
It's a
then I
little
don't.
bit- It's a little bit different, though.
Yeah. All right, so you've got, and I'm gonna need more of both. I can see that already. A lot more of both. So I'm gonna put chili powder in again. More chili powder, Leonore.
Oh, you're putting in chipotle?
I'm going to shortly.
Good.
We will eventually. Well, now I don't have any powdered chipotles or dried.
No, that's fine.
All right. Remember, you're making it for you. I'm making it for me. So
And-
whatever works for me
And me.
may not, and my wife too.
You got to please me. We're gonna remember
I
that.
do have to please you. And I will do it. Hell or high water. I'll get her dog on it. All right, so yeah. So you got. It's gonna take. I think I'm gonna need more chili powder down the line here, but
It smells really good.
it's starting to get that
I wish
aroma.
everybody could smell it.
I wish you could too. Okay, we've got. Now this is optional. I'm not saying it's necessary. I have some basil leaves here. It's a sweet spice. I'm gonna put it in.
Well, it gives another dimension.
Yeah. There's not much. I just emptied that one. I have some more over here.
And
But the
oreg-
other thing
yeah.
is, I got oregano.
Yeah.
Oregano. Ken, you're not making Italian food. You're supposed to be making some kind of Mexican, south of the border, southwest. Yep, that's right.
But Mexican oregano is a very important element in Mexican cooking.
There it
It's a
is, Mexican oregano.
A fresh element, and the basil does too.
So fresh, very fresh. Now, I put garlic in. I'm going to put some garlic powder in too. I'm going to put more garlic powder. Gotta have a lot.
How much would you say that is?
That was probably a teaspoon and a half. I don't know. I'm not a chef.
Well, after you taste it when the meat's totally done, you can always add garlic powder toward the end. It works well in the end. Yeah.
Okay. More basil. All right. Okay. And I'm gonna, let's see, what else do I have here? I don't know. I think we need more chili powder. So that looks to be at least a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half. Put that. I'm gonna put some more seed, cumin seed. As soon as I find it. I know this, to the untrained eye, this looks like I don't know what I'm doing. Well, and the untrained eye would be correct. There. Some more seed out there. Oh, man, I can hardly wait. See, the one thing that I don't know that cooks, you know, they get training in the chemistry of food. I don't have any training in the chemistry of food. I have a lot of experience with the flavor of food, and that's all I care about. And I've said this before to people, that I eat food mostly for the flavor, and if it doesn't taste good, now if I paid money for it, I'll finish it off only because I got an investment in it. But if it's just, I've been polite, I've eaten at people's places, or I've eaten food that people have prepared, and I finished it, but you probably, if you don't see me go back for seconds, there's a reason.
Leonor,
Hundreds of dozens.
what's that technique you use for the tomatoes?
This is the tomato technique.
Well, this is something I stole from Martha Stewart. It's
And
two
if she
lids
finds
off
out,
of a season.
she'll sue.
Yeah. No, they shared it on their show. She shared it on her show. You just put it in two plastic lids. These are from soy sauce from a Chinese restaurant. Just put the whole tomatoes in, and you put the other lid on, and just run your chef's knife between the two. And at least it gets them into halves, which is perfect for salad and a lot of things. For the tacos, I am chopping them a little bit finer. I'm being merciful to my husband and helping out a little bit.
Oh, she's so nice. I'm going to let some of this moisture now cook out.
Yeah.
And in the same time, I'm going to cut up some onion. See, I don't know what it tastes like yet, and I really should taste it while I'm going along here. That's what all of the great chefs do. They say, did you taste it? That's what my wife says, did you taste it? And then if you didn't, you go to jail. Chef jail. They're not even close. When's the last time you heard one of the chefs say that? Okay.
How much more of that did you put in?
I bet you that's close enough. I won't say tablespoon.
And that's cumin?
No, I put cumin, powdered cumin in. That was powdered garlic. One of the things that it needs desperately at this point is some salt. So I'm going to put roughly a teaspoon of salt. Heaping teaspoon. No, I'm going to put about a teaspoon. I won't put the whole thing into the cloves. Because I don't want to oversalt, but I don't want to have it undersalted. I'm going to put some more basil in it. I got to open up that container some more. And more, that's not, more oregano. I know. What's my problem? I want to have more flavor. Chili powder. A little bit more of that. All right. Remember, make it to your taste, not mine. Now, while this lid is off, doing whatever it's going to, well, actually, I'm going to put it back on while I cut onion. And I'm hoping that, now, here, these aren't going to be big chunks. And I've seen varieties of ways of people cutting onion. I don't care. This is what works for me. The reason I want to throw some of the sweet onion in there is because I want to add flavor component and also, I don't know, a texture. That'll probably disappear for the most part. You won't see. Do that temporarily. Let's come back in about 5. I think I'll blow some of the meat on the floor. Oh, wow. The cumin is coming through nicely. There's plenty of salt. I forgot a very important ingredient called chipotle. This is the same stuff that we use in putting a tad bit of background heat into the guacamole. Well, I'm putting chipotle powder in the taco meat so that it has a little bit of heat background. Also going to put some more oregano. Oh man. I can smell that chipotle. It is amazing. Anyway, I know I kind of overreact when it comes to food. It's me. I want to check it out. A lot of the moisture has worked its way out. I'm going to probably put a little bit of water in it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. On the bottom of this, and you can't see it, but in the bottom of it, you see this residual oil, and it's got this beautiful color to it. It's probably part olive oil, a little bit of rendered fat, but also the color of the various spices that I put in there, and herbs. It's just amazing. Leonore, should I put the cilantro in?
Oh, I don't know. You plan to put it in it, or you plan to use it?
We can sprinkle it on the top. I'm sorry, I have to.
I mean, if you
I have to
want-
discuss this with the chief.
There's more. I get extra. It's in a glass on the counter on the window.
Oh, what the heck? Why not? A glass on the counter.
On the look, there's on the windowsill.
The windowsill.
Yeah, but I don't know. Did you want more?
Nah, you know what? We're gonna go with what you cut.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know that this is disorganized, and you just decided to not watch, and I can't blame you.
It's not disorganized. It's creating.
This is about ready.
No.
What?
People look at it as disorganized.
What? Only to the untrained eye.
Right.
Yeah, I got it. Untrained eye. Yeah, got it. All right. Well, what we're going to be doing here, what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be adding a tad bit of water. I'm using my convenient water container. Because I'm going to be turning it down to like low. All right, gonna let that thing simmer a little bit, and then I'll be checking it out. Smell the bottle of chili powder.
Yeah. Just open it, smell it, see if you think it needs.
So the point is to find out whether it smells the same as the chili powder.
No, just smell the chili powder, see if you think that is an element that could be a little bit more strongly.
I'm gonna add some to it.
Well, I mean, only if you think I'm just saying,
I think that is not a bad addition. But that's the last thing. I think everything else is perfect.
yeah, it's really good.
And I'm not adding a lot, I'm just adding a little bit. Okay. This stuff is ready. Jim,
Mr. Fatula,
shall we start it up again?
we already are.
Oh, we already are. Oh, we're already up. Awesome. Okay. I put a little bit more chili powder in. As my wife said, if you want to know what something's going to taste like, smell it. And that'll give you an idea. And Mrs. Fatula thought that I should take a whiff of the chili powder just to make sure that there was enough of that background. And I think she made a good point. But I'm guessing at this point that the meat is ready. A couple things here. First one is, almost all taco shell boxes have directions, instructions about toasting the shell. If you don't toast the shell, it's like eating cardboard. Flavored cardboard, but still eating cardboard. You want the shell to have a certain amount of crunchiness to it, and that's absent because when they make these, I guess they're fried, and the oil that they fry it with is absorbed by the shell itself. So what you're trying to do is you toast, you put your oven, for instance, this is 325. This is a different brand. This instruction, and it could be because of the thickness of the shell, 325, okay, 325, and it tells you how long, which is 7 minutes, 6 to 7 minutes. Both of them are identical. So what we're going to do is I'm going to walk over here and you will watch me, and I will probably try to get it to 325. I'm going to turn it on. Boy, you're looking at a very old kitchen. I love this stove. Unfortunately, it is no longer stable. You'll set it for a temperature, and next thing you know, it's no longer at that temperature.
Do you want me to set it at 325 for you?
Yes, if you would, please. Mrs. Fatula has the technique.
Well, I
She's
have
sort of like the
masking tape.
she is the oven whisperer or something. I don't know. She knows how to do it.
There's no numbers on the dial. More so.
Okay, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
We won't discuss the numbers on the.
Well, there's a thermometer inside.
Yeah, we have an oven thermometer, which is a really good addition. Oven thermometers are handy, especially if you don't know what to dial. I wonder where this is. Yeah, he's sort of like, yeah, you're making a guesstimation. And when that little light goes off, I'm going to push it. And in the meantime, it's set for 620. In the meantime, I'm going to get out some of the other things that I like to use. Oh yeah. So in go the taco shells. And it is at, it's a little light, Leonore. It was like 275. I bumped it up. Now the way that I do this is wrong, but I'm not a chef. I try to dice onions because I like onions on it. And there are people, I know that there's ways that you do this where you cut in from the end and then you cut again. And my only problem is it looks to me like there's a lot of waste. And I'm just a middle class Joe living on a fixed income. I don't like to waste anything. I'm just being honest. So, all right. Sweet onion, diced. Oh, can I wait? Now, a lot of people do this, and I can actually do it. The famous, I can do it. I don't do it as well as others. And I see that I drew part of that off. All right, this may be or may not be enough onion for the tacos that we have. I don't know how many tacos. Are you going to be eating, Jim? Are you going to be sharing taco with me?
I definitely will.
Okay, so since we have a guest, Mrs. Fatula, I can eat lots of tacos. And when I say that, one time I mentioned the fact that I had 9 tacos. And some guy looked at me and said, 9 tacos? And I said, well, after the first 6, they were just so good. Yeah, I eat for flavor, not for nutrition. I should have, the important thing to do whenever you put something in the oven and you have a timer, use the timer. Oh, okay, we're ready to go. Yeah, we'll be pulling those bad boys out. Now you're going to see exactly what I didn't want to have happen. But I told you that what would happen is, if they're in, you see the surface of the taco shell. How it's got a little sheen to it, and you see how rather than being open, they have now closed on one another. This is perfect. This is what I wanted you to see. So now we have taco meat, taco shell. The one thing that I haven't prepared, and I'm going to let those cool a little bit. The one thing I haven't prepared, and I'm going to have to move this into a bowl. On my back. I'm getting old. Some would say, no, you're not getting old. You arrived there a long time ago. Got the onions. I got your onions. You got your tomatoes. You got your cheese. And now you got your lettuce. That's right, folks. Now, you see what happened to that lettuce? Yeah, it got a little funky. You're going to have to cut that away. But that's okay, because most of it is in tip-top shape. What happens if you cut lettuce, cut it, sometimes it has a tendency to go bad. It will just,
It oxidizes along the cut.
yeah, that's all I said, it oxidizes. Thank you very much. See, I do need help. Yeah, the guy that's watching this is saying, you need a lot of freaking help. But, here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a segment out of this. And then I'm going to cut it some more. Now you could tear it, and they say if you tear it, it's better. But since we're going to be eating all of this, or at least I will, today, and I'm just going to do this. Once again, I'm not a chef, but I know how to cut lettuce. And by the way, I want to point out the fact that I only have a few more cuts to go. I haven't bled at all. Oh yeah, here it is, Alaska. Ta-da! So, I'm going to put the lettuce back in. Now, the thing about lettuce is, don't seal it up. Put it in the fridge, don't do that. And what it does is, your refrigerators go through a cycle, and part of that is related to moisture. And what you want to do is, any excess moisture, you don't really want moisture against the lettuce, because that water will start to ruin it. So you want to see if you can get a semi-dry environment for it. And that's it. We've got everything that we need to make the perfect taco. Oh yeah. When you make a taco, people seem to want to think that the best taco has the most meat. Maybe not. I think the best taco has enough meat in it so that it gives you the flavor that you're looking for and something to bite down on and to chew. But I want to leave enough room so that I can put the condiments on, because they add a different dimension. You get your crunch. Dun, 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 dun. See, here you go. You got that. I got my, and I should have actually opened this up and let some of this air out. But we got cheese. Now, while it's super hot, or hot, I'm going to put the cheese on. Hopefully it will temper the cheese a little bit. Maybe it'll actually melt a little of it. Oh. Yeah, I'm a sick puppy. All right, so we got that. Now, next thing I put on, and you don't have to use your fingers, but I'm going to because I'm clean. I don't have any disease that I'm currently aware of, and I've had both of my COVID shots. I'm COVID friendly.
You're 5G compliant.
I am compliant. Whenever I use that term, COVID friendly, people often laugh. But it's not mandatory. You don't have to laugh. All right, I'm going to be going back to that. Now, the next thing that I add is some of the lettuce, because the lettuce, so far I've got, hopefully, the dairy, the background of the cheese. I've got some onion, sweet onion, that gives it a little sweetness at the same time, that oniony flavor. Now and you can do anything. If you like grilled onions and you want to use grilled onions, knock yourself out. This is your taco, not mine. I was just basically trying to say, if you're going to make meat, make it with some flavor. And those flavors that you put in there, you could use it with chicken. You could use it with anything you want. Well, not fish. Fish tacos, different thing. But, okay, we got that. Now, because my wife, who I love dearly, cut up some tomatoes, I am going to, I often don't have tomatoes on it because I usually don't have enough room. But I'm going to put some tomato on it. And where's that, where's that cilantro again?
I don't know, you put it away.
Oh, that's right, I put it away. Well, no wonder I don't know where it is. It's early onset. A little bit of cilantro. Now, the guys that know how to say it, cilantro. Yeah, got it. I'm going to pretend that I actually speak Spanish. No. I'm pretending I speak English. All right, now, I don't care what you use for a sauce, whatever you like. I've got some roasted chipotle. It's mild. I'm going to try it. I don't think I've ever had it. We're going to find out how mild it is. Yeah, but first I have to open it. All right, got it? All right, I'm in. I'm going in. Okay. I'm a little sloppy. Okay, what we got here? The meat has so much stuff going on. The cheese is not one of those outstanding flavors. It's not like, oh, I taste the cheese. The cheese is there, and you can taste it. The onion is not prominent at all. The coolness of the shredded lettuce, awesome. You really need that. It gives you a little relief. And then this sauce is really good. But the tomatoes, Leonor, the tomatoes and the chipotle are, yeah. The seasoning from the cilantro, oh my goodness.
Oh, good. Glad it's working.
If you don't make these, you're missing out. I'm telling you right now. Oh yeah. So there it is. I'm not a chef.
And you might want to remind the viewers to like and subscribe.
You need to make this, and after you make it, you will like and subscribe. Because we're going other places with other food. I'm telling you right now. Thanks a lot for watching. And you need to do this. If you don't, I hope that your children badger you. And, or your wife. Or, heck, your wife may be watching. Anyway, take care. It was a pleasure making food. It's even better to eat it. Bye-bye.